boys and girls. Welcome to Bedtime Stories for Little Borderites. My name is Mrs. Thompson, and tonight I'm going to read Velma Gratch and the Way Cool Butterfly. I hope you enjoy. Velma Gratch was the youngest of the Gratch sisters. Frida, the oldest, had gone through the first grade first, followed by Fiona, and now it was Velma's turn. The chorus teacher remembered Frida best because she had a voice like an angel. The gym teacher remembered Fiona best because she ran like the devil. And the first grade teacher, Mr. Plexipus, fondly remembered both sisters because of Frida's miraculous math and Fiona's spectacular spelling. Everyone from the class guinea pig to the principal had magnificent memories of the older Gratch girls, but they couldn't hardly even recall Velma's name. This made Velma feel as if she did not belong in the first grade at all. She wanted to curl into a ball and roll right back into kindergarten. "Of course you belong," cooed Velma's mother, trying to cheer her up. "You've only just begun. Soon everyone will notice you." Velma couldn't wait. She needed to be noticed now. So in chorus she sang loudest so that the teacher could hear her best. In gym she ran slowest so the teacher could see her the best. And in class she refused to read and muddled her math. Mr. Plexipus lamented that she was the first Gratch sister ever sent to the principal's office. But this brought a small smile to Velma's lips. "Littlest Gratch, why are you singing so loudly in the chorus and running so slowly in gym?" inquired Principal crossly. "Because," answered Velma, "I want you to remember me just like you remember Frida and Fiona." The principal's owlish eyes opened wide. "But my dear, those Gratches are remembered for good things." Velma's small smile pretzel twist into a full-blown frown. While science was Velma's favorite, she had learned many fabulous facts, like how rainbows are born and why a volcano burps, and the latest lesson was about butterflies. Mr. Plexipus explained that a butterfly starts as an egg. The egg turns into a caterpillar. The caterpillar disappears into a chrysalis, which is a little sac, and does not come out until it has changed into a beautiful butterfly. He calls this changing metamorphosis. Velma did not want to forget this extra long word, so she repeated it again and again as she walked home. Metamorphosis, metamorphosis, metamorphosis. "Frida, when you were in first grade, did you study butterflies?" Velma asked her oldest sister. "No, we learned about worms," Frida replied. "Fiona, when you were in first grade, did you study butterflies?" Velma asked her middle sister. "No, we found out about frogs," Fiona said. "Well," said Velma proudly, "we are studying butterflies and metamorphosis." "That's way cool," Frida declared, and Fiona bobbed her head. "That is way cool." And they nodded in agreement. Velma read everything in the library about butterflies. She discovered that there are 20,000 different types, which is a lot. She adored the ones with colorful names like the brown elfin, the frosted flasher, or the sleepy orange, and the ones with the funny names like the comma, question mark, the American snout, not to mention the one with the strange names like Morpho, the painted lady, and the gossamer wing. But her favorite butterfly of all was the orange and black monarch. When it got cold, all the monarchs would fly south to Mexico to stay warm. Velma thought this was an amazing coincidence because last winter, for vacation, her and her family had also flown south to Mexico to stay warm. In science, Mr. Plexippus announced that they would take the class on a field trip to the Butterfly Conservatory. This is a place where real butterflies are collected and cared for. Because Velma didn't want to forget this extra long word, she repeated it over and over again as she walked home. Conservatory, conservatory, conservatory. Frida, did you take a class field trip in first grade? Velma asked her oldest sister. Absolutely, we went to the museum, Frida replied. Fiona, did you take a class field trip in first grade? Velma asked her middle sister. Absolutely, we went to the aquarium, Fiona stated. Well, said Velma, we're going to the can serve the story? That's way cool, Frida declared, and Fiona bobbled her head in a way cool agreement. The Butterfly Conservatory was surrounded by fancy flower beds and bedecked with banners of butterflies. Velma was so excited that her knobby knees wobbled and her spaghetti arms trembled and her carroty curls shook. A sharp-nosed woman holding a clipboard introduced herself. I am your tour guide. Inside, a butterfly might land on you, but please don't touch its wings. Does anyone know why? Velma's hand shot up. Because they're made of tiny scales that could rub off like dust, and that's not good, she explained. Precisely, said the guide. What's your name? I'm Velma, the youngest of 3 Gratch girls. I don't think I know your sisters, the guide commented as they entered the rainforest room. And there it says butterflies across the room. It was a magical space, slathered in tall trees and tangled vines. Water gurgled over rocks and butterflies of every variety, including the giant swallowtail, shorter-tailed skippers, pygmy blues, and the best of all, monarchs. They flew up everywhere. The guide explained that when it gets cold in a couple of weeks, she would take the monarchs to the park and let them free so they could fly to Mexico. This traveling is called a migration. Because Velma didn't want to forget this extra long word, she repeated it again and again as she walked through the rainforest. Migration, migration, migration. A gorgeous green comma rested on Randy's head, and the class oohed. A baby brown elfin settled on Sandy's nose, and the class awed. A big blue morpho aligned on Andy's shoulder, and the class gasped. But not one single butterfly landed on any part of Velma. Time to leave, instructed Mr. Platypus as they neared the exit. A tear formed in the distant corner of Velma's eye. All she wanted was one single butterfly to touch her. On a nearby branch sat a mostly lovely monarch. How she yearned to get those velvety wings close to her. She moved slowly, and the class was leaving. One more inch. It was so pretty. She froze. If she touched the wing, it might... Velma couldn't do it. She couldn't hurt a butterfly. Come on, Velma, we have to go, someone said. And sadly, Velma turned away. But at that very moment, the most marvelous thing happened. The monarch hopped from its branch and roosted right on Velma's finger. Delicate wings slowly folding, antenna twitching, weightless and wondrous, the insect sat. Velma was in heaven. The bus is waiting, her teacher called. Velma placed her finger next to a branch. Bye-bye, butterfly, she said, but the monarch didn't move. We're closing, said the guide. Velma lightly blew on the butterfly, but it didn't budge. Without ever touching a butterfly's wings, everyone tried to get the monarch to fly, crawl, or walk off Velma's finger, but nothing worked. At last, Velma was told to leave with the butterfly still perched on her finger. It stayed there on the bus ride home. It stayed there when she slept and was still there when she awoke. It stayed during gym, math, reading, ballet, soccer. Day in and a day out, it stayed on that pointer finger. Soon everyone, from the class guinea pig to the principal, knew about Velma and her butterfly. Well, Mr. Plexippus lamented that Velma was positively the first Gretch ever sent to the principal's office twice. This stuck an oversized frown on Velma's face. Velma, Principal Crossley commanded, it's time for the butterfly to go. I've tried everything to get it to go, Velma moaned, but it just won't. Well, no one will ever forget this, the principal said. Velma's frown pretzel twist into a small smile. Hey, I know what to do, she proclaimed. My grayson. That's not how you say it, is it? Velma gets that confused. Velma paraded Principal Crossley, Mr. Plexippus, her first grade class, Frida and Fiona, and all of them went to the park. Car horns honked and people yelled, but despite it all, the monarch did not move. A cool wind from the west blew through the field. In the middle stood the tour guide from the conservatory, carefully opening an enormous sack. And every single monarch butterfly stepped out, looked around, and flitted away. It was trailed by 10, then 10 more, soaring up and up until the sky overflowed with the thick orange clouds of orange and black. What's happening? Wondered Fiona. Why are you letting them go? Asked Frida. Migration, answered the guide. My gray son, repeated Velma. The wind tousled Velma's hair and tickled her butterfly's wings, and the monarch jumped onto her nose, as if to give her a kiss, then took flight to join its friends. Over the treetops it flew, over the skyscrapers and up into the wild blue, orange, and black yonder, on its way to Mexico. Velma! Shouted Principal Crossley, and every eye turned towards her. Oh no, fretted Velma. She was sure she was about to become the only Gratch girl ever sent to the principal's office 3 times. That was way cool, said the principal. And one and all bobbed their heads in a way cool agreement. Then, with her fine finger where the monarch had sat still, it still tingled. Velma, followed by her two sisters, floated home, just like a butterfly. So this was Velma Gratch and the Way Cool Butterfly. I hope you liked it. Take care.